Hari Om to one and all present here. It is an earnest request to put your mobile phones in silent mode. We are about to begin today's program. The name Guru Vandanam signifies our gratitude to all our gurus who have taught to lead us a life of righteousness. Chinmaya Mission has given the people at the helm of affairs a unique opportunity to do a sadhana by explaining one chapter from the manual of man, the Bhagavad Geeta, with a vision of making the essence of this great scripture percolate from the top brass to the students of our Vidyalayas. This is our Samarpanam to our Pujya Gurudev. We begin today's program with the invocation song by the school choir. Thank you.
ಉಂಬತರದೇನು ಮನಿ ಕಸಿವಾಗಿ ಉನ್ ಕಡಲಿರ್ತೆ ನಮುದ ತುನರ್ವೂರಿ ಉಂಬತರದೇನು ಮನಿ ಕಸಿವಾಗಿ ಉನ್ ಕಡಲಿರ್ತೆ ನಮುದ ತುನರ್ವೂರಿ இன்பரசத்தே பருகி பலகாலும் எந்த நுயிர் காதரவுற்று அருள்வாயே தம்பி தனக்காகவன தனைவோனே தந்தை வளர்த்தால் அருள் கை கனியோனே அன்பர் தமக்கான நிலை பொருளோ ஐந்து கரதானை முக பெருமாளே ஐந்து கரதானை முக பெருமாளே ஐந்து கரதானை முக பெருமாளே.
Thank you. Next, Guru Stotram will be chanted by the school choir to show our reverence and to get his grace and blessings. Over to the school choir.
Akhandamandalakaram vyaptam yena characharam tatpadam darshitam yena tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः. गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुरेव परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः. स्थावरं जङ्गमं व्याप्तं यत्किञ्चित् सचराचरं तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः. चिन्मयं व्यापि यत्सर्वं त्रैलोक्यं सचराचरं तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः. सर्वश्रुतिशिरोरत्न विराजितपदाम्बुजः वेदान्ताम्बुजसूर्यो यः तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः. चैतन्यशाश्वतशान्तो व्योमातीतो निरञ्जनः बिन्दुनादकलातीतः तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः. ज्ञानशक्तिसमारूढः तत्त्वमाला विभूषितः भुक्तिमुक्तिप्रदाता च तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः. अनेकजन्मसम्प्राप्त कर्मबन्धविदाहिने आत्मज्ञानप्रदानेन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः. शोषणं भवसिन्धोश्च ज्ञापनं सारसम्पदः गुरोपादोदकं सम्यक् तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः. न गुरोरधिकं तत्त्वं न गुरोरधिकं तपः तत्त्वज्ञानात् परं नास्ति तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। मन्नाथः श्रीजगन्नाथः मद्गुरु श्रीजगद्गुरुः मदात्मा सर्वभूतात्मा तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। गुरुरादिरनादिश्च गुरुः परमदैवतं गुरोः परतरं नास्ति तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। त्वमेव माता च पिता त्वमेव बन्धुश्च सखा त्वमेव विद्या द्रविणं त्वमेव सर्वं मम देवदेव त्वमेव सर्वं मम देवदेव त्वमेव सर्वं मम देवदेव।
Now, the teachers of Chinmaya Vidyalaya Ananagar will chant Chinmaya Ashtotra Namavali to extol the Guru for his godlike qualities. This will be followed by Arati.
अजाय नमः ॐ अव्ययाय नमः ॐ अविनाशिने नमः ॐ अचिन्त्याय नमः ॐ अप्रमेयाय नमः ॐ अद्वितीयाय नमः ॐ अनिकेताय नमः ॐ अनुशासनप्रियाय नमः ॐ अन्तःसाक्षिणे नमः ॐ अन्तर्यामिने नमः ॐ आनन्दाय नमः ॐ आत्मस्वरूपाय नमः ॐ आङ्ग्लभाषाविदुत्तमाय नमः ॐ ईश्वराय नमः ॐ उदारहृदयाय नमः ॐ उत्साहवर्धकाय नमः ॐ एकस्मै नमः ॐ ओङ्कारविदे नमः ॐ करुणासागराय नमः ॐ कर्मपरायणाय नमः ॐ कालातीताय नमः ॐ कैवल्यस्वरूपाय नमः ॐ कृतात्मने नमः ॐ कृतकृत्याय नमः ॐ गीताज्ञानयज्ञप्रचारकाय नमः ॐ गुरवे नमः ॐ गुणातीताय नमः ॐ ग्रन्थकृते नमः ॐ चिन्मयाय नमः ॐ छिन्नसंशयाय नमः ॐ जगदात्मने नमः ॐ जगत्साक्षिणे नमः ॐ जनप्रियाय नमः ॐ जितेन्द्रियाय नमः ॐ जीवब्रह्मैकविदे नमः ॐ जीवन्मुक्ताय नमः ॐ जीर्णमन्दिरोद्धारकाय नमः ॐ तपोवनशिष्याय नमः ॐ तपस्विने नमः ॐ तापनाशनाय नमः ॐ तीर्थस्वरूपाय नमः ॐ तेजस्विने नमः ॐ देहातीताय नमः ॐ द्वन्द्वातीताय नमः ॐ दृढनिश्चयाय नमः ॐ धर्मसंस्थापकाय नमः ॐ धीमते नमः ॐ धीराय नमः ॐ धैर्यप्रदाय नमः ॐ नारायणाय नमः ॐ निजानन्दाय नमः ॐ निरपेक्षाय नमः ॐ निःस्पृहाय नमः ॐ निरुपमाय नमः ॐ निर्विकल्पाय नमः ॐ नित्याय नमः ॐ निरञ्जनाय नमः ॐ परमाय नमः ॐ परब्रह्मणे नमः ॐ पावनाय नमः ॐ पावकाय नमः ॐ पुरुषोत्तमाय नमः ॐ प्रसन्नात्मने नमः ॐ फलासक्तिरहिताय नमः ॐ बहुभक्ताय नमः ॐ बन्धमोचकाय नमः ॐ ब्रह्मनिष्ठाय नमः ॐ ब्रह्मपराय नमः ॐ भयनाशनाय नमः ॐ भारतगौरवाय नमः ॐ भूम्ने नमः ॐ महावाक्योपदेशकाय नमः ॐ महर्षये नमः ॐ मधुरस्वभावाय नमः ॐ मनोहराय नमः ॐ महात्मने नमः ॐ मेधाविने नमः ॐ यतात्मने नमः ॐ यज्ञकृते नमः ॐ लोकप्रसिद्धाय नमः ॐ वाग्मिने नमः ॐ विभवे नमः ॐ विनोदप्रियाय नमः ॐ विनयशीलाय नमः ॐ वीतरागाय नमः ॐ वेदान्तवेद्याय नमः ॐ शान्ताय नमः ॐ शान्तिप्रदाय नमः ॐ शास्त्रोद्धारकाय नमः ॐ शुद्धसत्त्वाय नमः ॐ श्रुतिपारगाय नमः ॐ श्रोत्रियाय नमः ॐ सन्न्यासिने नमः ॐ समबुद्धये नमः ॐ सच्चिदानन्दाय नमः ॐ सर्वहितचिन्तकाय नमः ॐ सत्यसङ्कल्पाय नमः ॐ सन्तुष्टाय नमः ॐ साधवे नमः ॐ सुमनसे नमः ॐ सुहृदे नमः ॐ स्वयं ज्योतिषे नमः ॐ स्थितप्रज्ञाय नमः ॐ क्षमाशीलाय नमः ॐ ज्ञानमूर्तये नमः ॐ ज्ञानयोगिने नमः ॐ ज्ञानतृप्ताय नमः ॐ नित्यशुद्धबुद्धमुक्तस्वरूपाय नमः ॐ नित्यशुद्धबुद्धमुक्तस्वरूपाय नमः ॐ नित्यशुद्धबुद्धमुक्तस्वरूपाय नमः ॐ श्री चिन्मय सद्गुरवे नमः।
आरति श्री चिन्मय सद्गुरु की दिव्य रूप मूर्ति करुणा की। आरति सद्गुरु की आरति श्री चिन्मय सद्गुरु की दिव्य रूप मूर्ति करुणा की। आरति सद्गुरु की आरति सद्गुरु की। चरणों में उनके शांति समाए, शरणागति की भ्रांति मिटाए। पाप ताप संताप हरण की पाप ताप ताप संताप हरण की आरती श्री चिन्मय सद्गुरु की आरती सद्गुरु की आरती सद्गुरु की वेद उपनिषद गीता को गाया धर्म सनातन फिर से जगाया शुद्ध नीति प्रीति शंकर की शुद्ध नीति प्रीति शंकर की आरती श्री चिन्मय सद्गुरु की आरती सद्गुरु की आरती सद्गुरु की सिद्धवारी की तपोभूमि में नित्य विराजे गुरु हमारे भक्त हृदय आनंद श्रोत की भक्त हृदय आनंद श्रोत की आरती श्री चिन्मय सद्गुरु की आरती सद्गुरु की आरती सद्गुरु की
as moving from the waking to the deep sleep. It is as quick and effortless as moving from the dream to the waking. From this present state of consciousness to the God state of consciousness. If once this knowledge has come into you, at this moment we think that God is in the heavens and that He is someone who is sitting on a golden throne, and that you and I as slaves must crawl, kneel and crawl towards Him and constantly repeat the glories of the Lord so that the Lord may have the self-confidence that He is a great. This is the human mind projecting itself on Him, and that He is angry with those who are sinners, and He is loving to those who are devoted, those who offer more and more. They built a church. Heaven is guaranteed. But we are not given anything to the Lord. Lord says, okay, I will remember you. When you come there, I will kick you. It's not that. Samoham sarva bhuteshu. Next, previous chapter. I am equally available in all people. Those who invoke me, they gain. Those who don't invoke me, they lose. And those who come to reach me, between me and Him, there is no distinction. Based upon those fundamental thoughts of Vedanta, the teacher, he says, Abhikamba Yoga. Such a yoga name is not there in our Shastra, but Vyasa creates it. He goes with the yoga of Vikamban, no tremor, no hesitation. You walk into it effortlessly. Natra samsaya, there is no samsaya, no doubt about it. It is only the differences that you feel that is creating this misunderstanding and creates God, the reality, as something foreign, far away, impossible to reach. You will understand it. Supposing a wave understands that I am the ocean, there is no distinction between me and the big wave, small wave, ripples of foam or lather or bubble. Everything on the surface of the globe is nothing but ocean. And I am that ocean. Once you have understood it, where is a competition for the little one? Hence these various waves. But they are not different. They are all one. Once you have understood this yoga and the glory of the Lord, that all these waves are of the ocean. The glory of the ocean are the waves. And the waves are really one in the ocean. One who thus understands the many waves in the one ocean, and also understands that the one ocean which has become the many. Such an individual, without any effort, immediately disappears to become the experience of the higher.
We now watched the recorded talks of our Pujya Gurudev Swami Chinmayananda, who brought spiritual renaissance by promoting the teaching and learning of this ancient scripture, which provides insightful solutions to all the problems of human existence, thus showing us the art of living. The world is my form. See me in the world and see the world in me. Then you will have seen the Vishwarupa, the universal form. Today's program will give us a deep insight into chapter 11 of the Bhagavad Geeta. The much awaited program of today will be the presentation of the 11th chapter, The Cosmic Vision, by the correspondents of Chinmaya Vidyalayas.
Shri Chinmaya Sadgurave Namaha. Om Namo Narayanaya. Tasmai Namaswami Tapovanaya. Hari Om and pranams to everyone. Today is a very auspicious day for all of us because we have been blessed with a divine opportunity to reflect and revel in the glorious cosmic form of the Lord. Chapter 11, Vishwarupa Darshana Yoga, where Bhagavan Shri Krishna himself reveals his cosmic form, his universal form, through Arjuna to all of us. How compassionate. This is one of the most beautiful, in fact, the most beautiful and the most touching of all chapters, of all the 18 chapters. It's full of wonderful descriptions and loaded with emotions. And Bhagavan Vyasa Maharishi, through word art, makes us go through a variety of bhavarasas, from wonderment to fear to reverence, devotion, and much more. So we, at the onset, invoke the grace and blessings of Vyasa Maharishi, entire Guru Parampara, and our sweet beloved Krishna Paramatma to bless us with the divine Divya Chakshu, which is a prepared, pure, focused, faithful, devoted mind, so we can absorb, assimilate, and delight in the cosmic form of the Lord as He unfolds it to us. Okay, so, but before we begin the chapter itself, let us see how it fits, how it's placed in the entire theme of the Bhagavad Gita. You know, great commentators, Bhashyakaras, have divided the 18 chapters in the Gita, into 3 sections of 6 chapters each. The first section, first 6 chapters, talk about Jiva, individual, you and me. And then the middle section of 6 chapters talk about Bhagavan, Bhagavad Tattva, Bhakti and Bhakta, Bhakta Lakshana. Okay, we are in that right now. And the last 6 chapters talk about Aikya Jnana, that is the absolute oneness between Ishvara and Jiva, between the Creator Lord, my Bhagavan, and me. The Aikya Jnana is spoken in the last. That's all Bhagavad Gita is all about, these 3 things only. How easy. It's easy to learn, to speak, but then to live it is another thing. Okay, so the first 6 chapters deal with the individual, as we saw. We know the first chapter is what? Arjuna Vishada Yoga, Arjuna's grief. It speaks about Arjuna's grief and its cause. Now, Arjuna is a representative of all of mankind, of you and me. So, we know he was grieving. And why? Because he was confused about his duties, what he should do and what he should not do. And why was the confusion? Because he did not know who he was. The mistaken identity caused the confusion on duties, and consequently he suffered. Is that not the pitiable situation of all of us? Yes? Most often in transactional world, and definitely, surely, from the Adhyatmic spiritual standpoint, we have all forgotten who we are. And hence the delusion and confusion on our duties. When we do not know who we are, how can we do what we should be doing, right? The confusion on roles, and wherever we are, we should know our role and responsibilities. So, in the other chapters, from 2nd to the 6th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavan Krishna guides Arjuna to transform that grief into a yoga which reinstates him, which reunites him with his original stature of the imperishable self, his true nature. So in chapter 2, he gives the nature of the indestructible self through Sankhya Yoga. He gives the result, the destination, the Sita Prajna Lakshana. Right away he gives the core. Then in the 3rd chapter, Karma Yoga, he speaks about performance of duties dedicated to a higher altar for the purification of the mind. That's a preparatory stage. Chapter 4, Jnana Karma Sannyasa Yoga. Still one does actions, but he has renounced the doership. How he can do an action without doership? On the strength of the knowledge of the actionless self, he is able to do the actions. So this is still in the action state, in the preparation stage. Then comes the Sarva Karma Sannyasa Yoga, wherein he drops all the actions. Rather, the actions drop such a person who has matured through these various stages. Okay, and ultimately now one comes to the point of Dhyanam. It culminates in Dhyana, where one is able to completely withdraw and abide in one's own true nature. So this is the first 6 chapters. Then in the chapters 7 to 9, Bhagavan talks about Bhagavad Tattva, Ishvara Tattva. Ishvara Tattva, how he creates and dissolves this universe. And in the 8th chapter, we saw Bhagavan spoke about Ishvara Tattva, the various upasanas and the gadis and so on. And in the 10th chapter, he enumerated all the various glories. Okay, so this is that. Why did we see that just now? Because at this juncture, in the 11th chapter, in the beginning, Arjuna also summarizes all that he has heard from Bhagavan thus far, from chapter 2 to chapter 10. We'll begin that now. So he says, Mad anugrahaya paramam guhyam adhyatma sangitam yatvayoktam vachastena mohoyam vigato mama. He says, Oh Bhagavan, by your grace, by your compassion, Mad anugrahaya, all these great words that I have heard from you, as a result, mohoyam vigato mama, my delusion has gone. So Arjuna is saying that his delusion about who I am, whether I should fight the war or I should take up sannyas, all the confusions that he had in the beginning of the 3rd chapter, the questions he had in the beginning of the 5th chapter, whether he should fight or meditate, whether he should fight or take up sannyas, all those duties about his role, his responsibilities, everything has been cleared. How? Madhanugrahaya, by your compassion. And your compassion was through those supreme words of Paramam Guhyam Adhyatma Sangitam. Through these 3 words, Arjuna summarizes the entire first 6 chapters. He says, you told me about the supreme self, Paramam, Adhyatmam, which is my own nature, Guhyam. So now I know my true identity to be, my core essence to be the indestructible, unborn, imperishable self. Therefore, I have no doubts about whether I should do my duty and fight the war, or I should run away or meditate or sannyas, no such confusions anymore for me. At least he is intellectually clear and convinced. It's not still an experience for him, but the delusion has gone. That he confirms. Every teacher wants to know, right? Whether the student has understood anything that has been spoken so far. So we ask, okay, understood? Purinjida, like that we ask. So Arjuna answers, yes, I understood by your grace. And he summarizes crisply. He says, you've told my nature to be the imperishable self. I've understood, and by that my delusion has gone. The desired result has been attained. Bhagavan is relieved. Now again, 7 to 9, that chapter also, he summarizes in 3 words. Bhavapyayau hi bhutanam. You are the origin and the cause of dissolution of all the beings, of all creations. And also your avyayam mahatmyam, your glorious, infinite, undecaying glories that you stated in the chapter 10, Vibhuti Yoga, all that has been detailedly listened by me very carefully, and I have understood. Okay. Now, after confirming to Bhagavan what he has gained and whether he has understood everything as Bhagavan intended, now after pleasing Bhagavan with his clarity, he places a very humble request. He says, Evam etat yathatatvam atmanam parameshwara. Oh Lord, it is just as you have said so far. Whatever you have said about yourself, about as being the creator, the resolver, everything, it is as it is. I accept. I have no doubt about it. I have full faith in it. I am intellectually convinced also. And but not out of doubt, but out of love, out of jignyasa. I want to see, I want to know. Drashtumichami te rupam aishwaram. I want to see that cosmic, I want to see your glory. Now I listened. Chapter 10 was a theoretical description of the glories of Bhagavan. He had stated all the glories. It was theoretical listening. Now Arjuna wants a practical a vision, a perception of the glorious form of the Lord. Especially the last sloka in chapter 10, Vibhuti Yoga, after enumerating all the glories, Bhagavan stated that all that you see in the 14 worlds is just covered, pervaded by one fraction of me. One fraction of me. This entire universe is just one fraction of the Lord. That's what Bhagavan said in the last sloka of chapter 10. So Arjuna is now what? He is now wanting to see, is now eager to see that form of the Lord. He had already heard, he had studied in the Vedas, Sahasra Shirsha, Purushaha, Sahasrakshas, Sahasrapat, Sabhumim, Vishwato, Vritva, Atyatishta Dashangulam. That he had heard, he had studied, and Bhagavan now himself just said, I pervade everything in just one fraction, and yet I stand apart. So that form, oh Lord, how it should be, I want to see. And he places that request so humbly. He says, Manyase edi tatshakyam maya drashtum iti prabho. If you think I deserve that vision of yours, I'm eligible, if I can see it, if I'm capable of, taking that perception, that darshan, then you give me. And he calls Bhagavan Yogeshwara, which means what? You are Yogeshwara. You can turn even a stone into a sentient, intelligent being. Therefore, you can make me capable. Even if I am not capable, you can bestow me that vision and enable me, empower me to see, behold you in that cosmic form. So now we may think, what is this cosmic form? That Virata form. See, we have a gross body, isn't it? We all have a gross body. We have a subtle body, which is our mind, thoughts which cannot be seen, but we have thoughts. Yes, and we have a causal body, which is the likes and dislikes, our innate tendencies. Okay, so too, Ishvara has a total gross body, a total subtle body, and a total causal body. The total gross body is this cosmic form which is going to reveal, and the total subtle body is the totality of mind, which we call Hiranyagarbha or Brahmaji, the creator. The creator is none other than all our thoughts, the subtle body put together. And the total causal body is Ishvara. wielding the power of Maya. So, effectively what he is asking is, you described as yourself pervading this entire universe with just a fraction. Your Virata Rupam, your gross cosmic form, I want to see. If you think I am eligible, please grant me. Motivated by the love that Krishna has showered on him so far, he feels encouraged to ask this request very humbly and with all faith. He requests whether Krishna should indulge him. Does he indulge him? Let us see. Our Uma Kalyan, Ma correspondent, CV, Sri City will now start.
Yes. So now that you heard, the student has asked the question to the teacher. Arjuna has asked Krishna, can you please show me your Virat Rupa? This Vishwarupa Darshanam is something, as Priyaji was telling from the beginning, it's something very beautiful, because the last 10 chapters which she was discussing with Arjuna, and Arjuna has understood everything, the word meaning, and so now he's saying, can you just visualize it for me? Even in our day-to-day life, when we see something, when someone goes somewhere and comes and says, you should have gone to Chardham, the flow of Ganga is so beautiful and all those things, the more we see it and the more we go, the experience is very different. So anything which we listen, something very beautiful, we want to experience it and see it. So he's, as Priyaji was telling, so he's asking Krishna, can you just show it to me? So Krishna immediately says, yes. Imagine when we get something, when we ask and you get it immediately, it's something very beautiful. So for a second, Arjuna is, stunned. Okay. So, but then Krishna understands that this big, whatever I have spoken, for me to understand, or for the person to understand will take time. So he gives him a special eye, Divya Chakshu. That is not the eye, it is more of a vision. You get a vision to see something, because it's something not on our imaginable level. We are able to understand, even when we read the shlokas, as she was saying, Vyasa pictures it so beautifully. The whole 14 worlds are seen. But how much am I able to picture is very little, Maximum we draw a picture where everything is seen in his body. We are trying to picturize it, but it is not very easy. So that is why Krishna thinks it is right to give a divine vision, that is Divya Chakshu, for him to see that. The first moment when he sees this, all the 14 worlds, what all is heard, that is nothing, that particular emotion is nothing other than wonderment. Wow. That wow is so huge in him, he just couldn't come out of it. The person whom he's been talking, oh Keshava, Madhava has become such huge in size. He's still trying to understand what he is seeing. The wonderment is so different and he's so stunned across. Anyone who's got a wonderment, what is the emotion of wonderment? Is most of it is stunned. He's trying to picture what he has heard so far. And this Divya Chakshu is even given to another person. Of course, it is our commentator, the Sanjaya. Because he is the man who is going to talk to, he's going to give this exactly what Arjuna saw. He's the one who is going to explain to Dhritarashtra. Because so that is why two people are given this Divya Chakshu. Now I was actually discussing with Priyaji when I was talking about this. So we were having a discussion, I was thinking, there was one more friend of mine who said, I was asking her, okay, I understand Arjuna was able to see the Divya Chakshu. So, but how is it going to relate to me now? Because this Bhagavad Gita is such a wonderful book. As the person was telling us, it's an art of living. So art of living should suit me now and here, right? I understand the Vishwarupam, but how am I going to enjoy this Vishwarupam? Every part of Gita is to be understood and we can live it here and then. So she was telling me, this Vishwarupam is not only what we are seeing in the divine vision, what Arjuna is saying, but it is another thing, that is the attitude, the way you look at the world. This attitude of being inclusive, where do you get this? The Divya Chakshu is the divine eye. That is where we don't have our ahankaram, mamakaram, the raga dvesha. I don't have the I part in me, the mind, the likes and dislikes. If all this four is removed, then you are able to see the divine living of this whole world. Everything is so beautiful. Let us imagine every time we get stuck where, like Arjuna, we see everything. But the moment I start relating it to me and mine, that is where I start understanding it's either we like it or I dislike it. So if you have to remove that, that means that divine attitude has to enter our head. That where we include everyone. That is the Virat Rupa. That is why the Vishwarupam is how we are going to enjoy in our world. If we are going to live in this world successfully and we want to enjoy everything in this world, then the first attitude of ours should be, I should move my likes and dislikes and I should see beyond it. Is it possible? Yes. Is it possible? Yes. Probably in slow practices we'll start getting it. Now normally from wonderment, where it goes. Now he's seen the beauty of the Vishwarupam. So Krishna want to teach him in every aspect of life. He wants to show him. The Mahabharata itself, when it started, and when Arjuna had a doubt, he came to really fight. He is not a guy who's been taught to fight. He is a real warrior, basically, right? So he comes with all, enthusiasm to fight. He comes there, so Krishna takes him in the first, he brings the chariot in between, and there the confusion starts. Why? Because he sees his own guru, his own grandfather, and his own brothers. Till then, it is not that it was not there, it was very much there. So there the confusion starts. So the Krishna starts teaching him what he should do, whether you are going to fight or not, it is going to happen and I am going to do. So Krishna wants to show it also. So in the Vishwarupa Darshanam, after the beauty, he's showing everything very beautiful. Now, he wants to show the other aspect. When there is beauty, there is something which is not beautiful also. It's a slight ugly. That's what we think. When there is birth, there is death. So after seeing Krishna slowly when he lifts up and he is looking up his face, he's slowly seeing his mouth, very huge, opened, 1,000 mouths, everything he's seeing. Slowly from wonderment, Arjuna is coming to the other emotion, fear. Now this fear is something, why do we get, why are we actually scared or, that's one is anxiety and one I don't know what it is. So here he's showing, he's trying to say for what this war was happening, you wanted to know the result of the war. Because normally he was asking Krishna, what will happen? In this war, what is going to happen? What is going to happen? So Krishna is showing him what is going to happen in the war. So that he sees. What he sees is Krishna's mouth open. Imagine one mouth only. There are thousands of mouths open and he's seeing all celestial people. All the people whom we have seen down are slowly doing their prayer and entering his mouth. Right? So normally when we are, when Gurudev normally talks about how we are attached to people, he'll say, when you read a news in the paper, you read, there is a fire accident or there is a flight or a train accident. So first time when we read, what is our first feeling? Oh, sad. Then after a few lines you read, it is happening in a place which is known to you. Then how you start reading the paper, you go more to the detail of the paper. Then we come to know in that train, some of my relatives have gone. Then you really want to know what happened. So you start attaching. So the first time when he's seeing celestial people closing their eyes and going, they're doing their prayer and entering the mouth of Krishna, he's still okay. Arjuna is still okay. Then slowly what happens, he sees the Pashu, Pakshi, everything entering his mouth because it is a pralaya, closing. That is what Krishna said. The whole world will come to. So he's seeing all that. So now he's looking, the fear is more. Then he sees whom? His own grandfather, the Dronacharya, Karna, everyone entering. Then it is becoming more close because it is his people. So now he's seeing the reality which Krishna explained to him earlier verse, that whether you fight or not, I will kill them. So he's seeing that and he's actually stunned. And now the fear is more. He is not very comfortable. Till then it was nice, but now this Rupam is getting Goram, It's not very comfortable. So, but then what happens is Divya, so he's not able to even see him. So he's saying, the Lord whom I have seen. Then he comes down and says, whom I have seen, such a lovely person, Vrindavan man who was having fun, whom I was, suddenly becomes very furious and very dangerous for me. So the fear is too much. He's gripped with fear. So he's saying, oh Lord, who are you? He's asking now, who are you? Are you the person whom I saw? That is what Priyaji is going to again give you an explanation.
So, Krishna is, as he unfurls the curtain, he is unfolding a big drama. It started with wonderment and slowly it's changing into fear. As we heard the introduction, first we thought how lucky Arjuna must be. Isn't it, to behold the Vishwarupa Darshana? And he was seeing what? Aneka Vaktra Netram, Aneka Bahudara Vaktra Netram. That is, he was seeing many faces, many bodies, many eyes, many mouths, and so many wonderful things on the form of the body. Everything at once, all together in one place, in the very body of the Lord, he was able to see that. And all he could see was infinitude, vastness, brilliance, blinding brilliance. And as Umaka explained, it was Sanjaya also who was bestowed with the Divya Chakshu. What Arjuna got through the blessing of Krishna, Sanjaya got through the blessing of a realized soul, Ved Vyas Bhagwan Maharishi. So he also briefly describes, after chapter 2, now only he opens his mouth because he cannot hold his wonderment. So he briefly describes the wonderful sights that he sees in front of him as the cosmic form of the Lord. And here I want to quote one verse which he says, where he says, Divi Surya Sahasrasya Bhaved Yugapat Utita Idibha Sadrisha Sasyat Bhasastasya Mahatmanaha. He says, as though thousands of suns, if thousands were suns were to light up the sky at once, how brilliant it would be. That is what I'm seeing. That's what Sanjaya, that's how Sanjaya describes. So after this wonderment, like Umaka said, it slowly shifted to a fear or a horror movie where Bhagavan just kept expanding himself into such a gigantic form, and he expanded his mouth so much, and he was Arjuna was able to see so many people entering into the mouth of the Lord. He was seeing Adityas, Rudras, Marutas, Ashwina Kumaras, Vishvedevas, so many celestials entering into the mouth, and there are these Yoga Siddhas, Siddha Sangha Purushas, that is perfected beings, singing, extolling the praises of the Lord as these celestials are entering. He is wondering, what is all this I'm seeing? And then it's getting more and more frightening, where he sees the Lords in the many mouths. He's seeing long pointed, fangs like that of the carnivorous animals. And he's seeing Bhishma Pitamaha, Drona and Sutaputra, Karna and all these people that he's familiar with. And he's also seeing so many of the warriors and the Mukhya Yodhas of his own army. Twaramanaha, as though they are going to see Perumal, Govinda, like such a rush. They are rushing towards that huge mouth of Shri Krishna, Bhagavan, with all those fearsome, terrible, long, Damshra Karalani, all those dark, long pointed teeth, they are rushing. Just as how in these bright lights, these moths, you see, they are going and dashing into that fire, into that bright light, isn't it? Like that, they are going towards the big mouth, the terrific mouth of the Lord, which is emitting fire. They are all just running towards it. Just as the waters of the rivers would rush towards the ocean, as though it's wanting to end itself, so too all these various warriors from the opposite side and from his own side also going there and dashing into the mouth of Bhagavan. So this really frightens Arjuna. And what happens then? So Arjuna is really frightened. What is more frightening is Bhagavan seems to relish this. Like if we were to have a dessert, layers of ice cream cake with syrups oozing out of it, And you don't want to take it piece by piece, you want to have the whole thing. You would open your mouth wide open and bite into it. And of course, something would get onto your lips. And how would you take your tongue around your lips and take everything that is sticking out between your teeth and just release it and go like that? Bhagavan seems to doing that and he's seeing all these people, his own people, mangled and dangling with limbs dangling and head powdered by the teeth of Bhagavan. So he's asking, Bhagavan, who are you? Akhyayime ko Bhavan ugra rupaha namostute. Whoever you are, Devavara prasida, please be pleased with me. But who are you? Vijñātam. That's what makes him stand apart from all of us. First of all, we don't have the guts to see such a vision. We would have fainted. That's why Bhagavan showed only to Arjuna. Okay? And even after seeing that, he wants to know, who are you? Why have you come? So Bhagavan answers, Kalosmi lokakshayakrit pravriddaha lokan samahartum pravrittaha ayam kala kalo jagat bhakshakaha. We say no. That's what I am kala. I am the indestructible time. I have come and I have grown in stature so much. Why? Lokan samahartum, to kill the entire world, to finish off all of these people. That's why I have come and I have grown so big to consume all these things. Why? That moment has come. If we have read the Mahabharata, we know the purpose of Krishna Avatara. Bhumi Devi was so burdened by so many adharmic people, the Rakshasas, on her. So she went in the form of a Gomata and complained to Bhagavan, asking him to help her. So Bhagavan consented and said, okay, I'll come as avatar and to establish dharma and to kill the evil, to protect the good. At that time, all the celestials also, they came as various forms. They also reincarnated, right? We know that Indra Samsha was Arjuna, and Vayu Samsa was Bhima, and Ashtavasus were Bhishmacharya, and the Rudraganas were Kripacharya. Elaborate descriptions are given, which celestial took which Manushya form, as which Yodha, as which warrior they came. All this is given in the Mahabharata. Now, when the moment has come, the final finale has come to destroy the evil, when the purpose is done, even the celestials, their purpose is finished and they have to go back, That is what he saw. All the Adityas, Rudras, Marutas, Vishvedevas were actually the 5 sons of Pandavas. So all of them were entering into the mouth of Bhagavan. But Arjuna at that time did not know who it was. Bhagavan only showed him what he needed to know, because the anxiety was there. In the beginning of the first chapter, he said, I don't know how am I going to kill Bhishma, Drona, and Karna and all that. So specifically he says those names. But others he did not know. Only the celestial forms he is seeing as entering into the mouth of the Lord. And then various other Yodhas being crushed and powdered and mangled by the teeth of the Lord. So he asked who he was. So Bhagavan explained all these things. I have come. The final moment has come. I'm finishing, and all these celestials are going back. And now he says, Ritepi tvam na bhavishyanti sarve ye avasthita pratyanikeshu yodaha. In the confronting army, every single Yodha, every single warrior, we all know there were 18 Akshahinis. That is, it comes up to about 43 lakhs of warriors, men there. And only 8 people survived at the end. So all of those people, not even one, everybody is going to cease to exist. Even without you, I will finish that. Even without you, I will finish them. Because, why? He says. And so he says, Tasmad uttishta yasho labasva jitva shatrun bhungshva raja samriddham. He says, therefore, it's already been done by me. Now, why are you waiting? Why are you afraid? Get up. Uttishta yasho labasva. Get fame. And defeat the Shatrus, the enemies who have already been defeated by me, killed by me. You can just do and blow them away and then enjoy the prosperous kingdom. Why? Maya eva ete nihataha purvameva. Much before they have been killed by me. So you are only going to fight against corpses, those who have already died. How Bhagavan you killed before itself? You said Nirayudha Pani, you did not carry any ayudam, you promised you will not carry any ayudam. But I said, even if I do not carry any army, I will make sure all the evil ones and those who supported the evil would perish. And he was well bent on doing it. we have to recollect the first chapter where after who Bhishma Acharya was the first one to blow the conch, right? And after that all the Dhritarashtra's, Zatarashtra's, all of them, Kauravas, all of them, they also blew their trumpet and horns and conches, and thus they became the aggressors. Then this side who should have responded? Yudhishthira or Drishtadyumna? But no. Madhava Pandavaschaiva Divyo Shankau Pradatmutu. Who? It was Madhava, Krishna Bhagwan who responded. By that itself he took the responsibility. I will fight these evil people and establish dharma. And by blowing the conch, in that description it was a Dhartarashtra Hridayani Kampayan. He made all the hearts of the opposers, the aggressors, to tremble. By merely blowing the conch, all were dead. That moment they were dead. Okay? And not only by that, they themselves wrote their destiny, their death statement by their own hands when they made the choice of standing by adharma. Duryodhana, Dushasana, Jayatradadi, they did adharma, therefore they had to go, they had to be perished by Bhagwan. But the others also who stood, they had a choice, right? Like Vidura, they could have, Raja Vidura, they could have just walked away, but they did not. Whether it is Bhishma or Dronasha, for whatever reason, knowing where dharma is and where Bhagwan is, still they stood by adharma. So for that reason, Ritepi Tvam, even without you, Mayaiva Ete Nihataha, I have killed them by blowing of conch and by giving their karma pala to the, for their choice of actions of adharma, they have been killed. And he specifically says, because remember he was anxious about Drona, Bhishma, all those people. So he says, mentions them, that anxiety was the cause of the breakdown and that became the seed of the Bhagavad Gita, isn't it? So he says, Dronam cha Bhishman cha Jayatratam cha Karnam tatanyanapi Yoda Viran, all these people. And he's mentioning these four because they are invincible. Invincible, otherwise invincible. Drona, he was the Dhanur Vidyacharya of Kauravas, Pandavas. He knew what all Arjuna could not do, everything. And he was such an invincible person that as long as he had weapons in his hands, Drona could not be killed. It was Krishna who gave the upaya, who said, he has weakness towards his son Ashwatthama, so by scheming and making him think that Ashwatthama is dead, we can weaken him and then Drishtadyumna could get rid of him. Again, with Bhishma Pitama, he had Svecha Maranam. He could not be killed unless he wanted to die. Such a person, how can you kill? And he is also the Shishya of Parashuram Rishi. And even his own Guru could not defeat him in a duel earlier. Such was his valor. There also, he gave the upaya to Yudhishthira to go and ask the blessings and ask the upaya from Bhishma Acharya. And he said, I won't fight against a woman. Shikandi there is Amba in the previous birth. Put her in front and you. Same thing with Karna. He was born with Karna, with all that Kavacha Kundala and all that. And also, you know what Krishna did? He went up to him and tried to create a split. And he said, you know who you are? You are actually the eldest of the Pandavas. Just go to Yudhishthira and tell them who you are. He will just fall at your feet and call you Anna. You become the, he'll crown you as the king. Don't do this. Don't fight. Don't join with the Duryodhana. He tried to do that. But still, and also at the end when Karna, gave that, wielded that astram, Krishna just stopped the chariot in such a way that it went to the crown and not hit the head of Arjuna. Talaikku vandadu talapayoda pochinu, that's why we say. Like that, all this Jayatrada, he had such a boon that, anybody who would cause the head of Jayatrada to fall on the floor, that slayer's head would be split or burst into 1,000 pieces. And what did Bhagwan do? He did so many things. We don't have time for all of that. Pattapagal Vattattigiril Iravaga in Tirupugal, Arunagiri Nadar says. He made the broad daylight look like sunset, and made Jayadratha come out of his hiding and Arjuna to wield his arrow in so much force in such direction, in a particular direction to so much yojanas that it flew and fell on the laps of Jayadratha's father who was doing tapas for his son. He woke up, he got so stunned, he stood and from his laps it fell on the ground. So Jayadratha's father's head burst into 1,000 pieces and said, what all Krishna has done. So he says, I have done all this done. Maya hatan. They have been killed by me. Mya vyatishta. Don't be afraid. Yuddhasva. He's telling Yuddhasva because he was a warrior. Do your duty. Jetasi, you have already won. And he says, Nimitta matram bhava savyasachan. Just be an instrument. Savyasachan he calls, means one who is good with the left hand. Arjuna was ambidextrous. What he means here is, Arjuna could only with the little finger of the left hand was enough for him to kill all those people, because Bhagavan has already done that. This is such a mantra for all of us. This is a clarion call of Krishna. This mantra, Nimitta Matram Bhava, just be an instrument, is a clarion call for not only Arjuna, but to all of us. Imagine a surgeon. He is about to do a surgery, complicated surgery. And he knows, Nimitta Matram Bhava, I'm just an instrument. I know what I'm doing, I'm going to do my best, but I leave the rest to Bhagavan, because what has to happen has already been done by the Lord. I'm just an instrument. Whatever is best for me and for everyone, he knows better than me. If a teacher, if a politician, if a national leader, if a sportsman, an athlete, everybody lives in spirit, this Nimitta Matram Bhava, understands to the core what it means to be an instrument. Everything, what has to be done has already been done by Lord. I'm just an instrument. That doesn't mean I relax. I know what is best. I know my responsibilities. Please give us the ability and courage to fulfill it. That is Nimitta Matram Bhava. So then, what happens to Arjuna after that? When he realizes, Krishna, Vishnu has come as Krishna to do all of this for me, and he's removed my anxiety, he's shown the results of the war. That Bhagavan, oh my God, right? How stunned, how moved he must be. So he just sings a beautiful stuti. Beautiful stuti. Here itself Sanjaya calls Arjuna as Kiriti. He's talking to Dhritarashtra and he says, Sanjaya already crowns Arjuna with a crown. And he says, Kiriti, Vepamanaha, Kritanjalihi, with bowing down his hands and joining his palms and with horripulations all over the body. He says, Thane Rishikesha. Arjuna says, Thane Rishikesha, which means everything, all is well, all is proper. So now he has calmed down after seeing everything what Bhagavan has done, and he realizes, I'm just an instrument, it's all going to happen well. It's just my choice to be right, to do the right thing at the right time. That's all I can do. Sane Rishikesha. If Arjuna can state like that in the middle of the war, knowing is going to be an instrument in all that, Sane Rishikesha, all is well. That is all. Such a comfort, isn't it? How relieving, how much more efficient we can be. So he just sings the praise of the Lord. Beautiful stuti, 4 slokas are there. He's unable to contain himself. He says, Namah purasta tata prishtataste namostate sarvata eva sarva. He says, Bhagavan, I prostrate to you from the left, from the right, from the front, from the back. Because you are everywhere, I'm seeing you, I'm part of the Vishwadarshan all over. So I cannot pay enough obeisance to you. I feel inadequate. Prostrations over and over, again and again. What all you have done for me, how much more you are going to do for me. You have taken the entire responsibility on your shoulders, oh Lord, thank you, like that. And then he seeks forgiveness. He says, oh Lord, I just thought you were to be a normal friend, and either alone or in public, I might have discourteously treated you out of intimacy or inadvertence. I called you, hey Madhava, hey Krishna, hey Yadava. And even in the beginning I said, hey, bring the chariot to the middle of the 2 armies. I ordered you, I commanded you. I treated you as a normal human being, as a friend, as a charioteer, as a servant, and much less. Out of intimacy only, O Lord, please forgive me like a friend would forgive a friend. Like a father would forgive a son who is his own flesh and blood. Like a beloved would forgive his or her dear one. Like that, it deserves you, it owes you to just forgive my inadvertence. Please forgive me. And he says, O Pitasi lokasya characharasya tvamasya pujasya guru gariyan natvat samosti abhyatika kutonyaha lokatreye api apratima prabhava. O Lord, you are the Father of all moving and unmoving things. Of all creatures, you are the Father. You are the Father of even a small insect. You know the welfare of everything. And you are the best of all gurus. You are Jagat Guru, Vishwa Guru. I prostrate to you. There is nobody in the three worlds who can equal you in any aspect, whether it is knowledge, valor, or dispassion. There is nobody equal to you. Who can excel you? You are the unrivaled one. So please forgive me. Like that, with a beautiful Kshama Yachana, Krishna finishes it. So now what happens at the end? See.
Hari Om. Now, Priyaji has given already a bird's eye view of the entire Gita, though we are limited to 11th chapter. Now, she talks about the Jiva, Ishvara, and then Aikyam. First six chapters they are talking about the Jiva. The next 7 to 12 talks about the Ishvara. And then 13 to 18 talks about the Aikyam. Actually, that is exactly the way in which the Gita is framed, actually. Now, this 10th chapter and 11th chapter, they are inseparable. Actually, almost we see that Bhagavan has described himself, actually in his words. It is 2G technology, actually. Words, worldly, by words he says, I am so and so, I am like this, I am like that, everything. Now, when it comes to 11th chapter, actually, he talks about the 3G and 4G, actually, where he himself shows everything, actually. Because Arjuna says, I want to see you. You are describing yourself like this. So I want to see your entire form. Of course, now we are going to a movie. There actually 3D movie we are going to see. There we cannot see the entire movie without the glasses, the 3D glasses we get. Like that, Bhagavan also gives him a Divya Shakshu. Actually, with that eye only he can see that form. Not everybody can see that form. Of course, I will also tell you who are all the persons who are eligible to see that form, actually. It is not as if, suppose you are given that vision, then you can definitely see. That is not like that. Actually, Sanjay also has seen that form because he was given the power to see. But then, here what happens is, now after hearing the Lord, he is very inquisitive and then he requests him, you please show me your form. Then of course, after giving that Sakshu, Divya Sakshu, he is also showing the form. But as Priyaji was explaining, in Purusha Suktam, the Sahasrasisa, Purusaha, all those things comes. Like that, we are also having Vishnu Sahasranamam, Sri Suktam everywhere. But all this, there actually only 1,000 words only are there. Where actually it is not possible to restrict Bhagavan's form in that form, actually. Because the glories of Bhagavan, Krishna, is indescribable, actually. It is not possible for a person to talk about the glories. Not at all possible, actually. Because he is the beginning and also he is the end, actually. That is exactly how it is there. A person with real knowledge and understanding of Bhagavan knows that whatever he experiences is with his limited senses. And actually, the glory of Bhagavan is that he is the origin and end of everything. From him only everything evolves, and unto him everything dissolves. That is exactly the order of things. Thus, the boundless glory of Bhagavan is attempted to be described in the 10th chapter, Vibhuti Yoga. Now, in the 11th chapter, of course, that is only depicted in the picture form, actually. Now, of course, Arjuna has seen, of course, they were all telling about the glories of Bhagavan, and then it is only a climax, actually. You see the Bhagavan, like that. But then now I have come to the anti-climax. What happens is, Arjuna is not an ordinary person. Actually, he is a warrior and he is a person endowed with so many qualities. He is not an ordinary person. And even for him, the form which Bhagavan reveals with the Divya Sakshu, that is not possible for him to withstand, actually. He is not able to stand that form. And he says, he says, Bhagavan, oh Lord, it is not possible for me to stand this. This form is so terrible. Why he is showing the terrible form also? In fact, he could have shown the pleasant form only. But then, we should also understand how the Bhagavad Gita comes, actually. When they are in the battlefield, at that point of time only, Bhagavad Gita comes and Bhagavan says, so many people are there. And of course, like what he was telling, Nimitta Matram Bhava Savyasachin, actually. So you are only an instrument, and already they are all killed. When the vision is there, everybody goes into the mouth. They are being actually taken inside. Then he understands that it is not all that what he performs. It is only in the hands of the Lord. He has already finished everybody, and he is only an instrument. And with that instrument only, everything is happening. Now, how exactly he wants to see the Lord actually? Now, normally he sees him in the human form. But then Bhagavan is not an ordinary person. Of course, he is a person with, he wants to say, Kridanam, Katinam, Chakrahastam, Ichami, Twan, Trishtamaham, Taveva, Teneva, Trupena, Chadrupujena, Sashabaho, Bhava, Vishwamurti. Actually, I want to see you with the 4 arms, with your Kridam, and then actually with your Sangha Sakar Kadadari. Like that, I want to see, that is all. That is not a form which I am afraid of. Actually, only this form, this cosmic form only, I don't know, I am not able to stand this. But then Bhagavan says, don't be afraid of this war. You are only an instrument. Now what is it? You are going to go and kill a snake that is already slain, actually. It is not, you are not going to perform any big task. That's what he says. And in this particular Vishwarupa Darshanam, there are certain messages that are being conveyed by the Lord, actually. Because, as I have already told, it is not easy for everybody to see that form. You should have the proper qualification to this form, actually. Even Arjuna, who is not an ordinary person, even that he is not able to see that form, and then he is not able to stand that form, actually. Now, that form is splendid, indefinite, and universal form, but the form is nothing but intellectual realization of the universal oneness. That is exactly how the form is. Because the universe itself is Bhagavan only. Whatever you see is Bhagavan. You are also Bhagavan. The other person also is Bhagavan. When you realize that, then you understand the indefinite glories of the Bhagavan, and then how exactly that glory you can realize in yourself. So Bhagavan himself says, he who looks upon him as the supreme and highly devoted to him, he is free from, the person who is free from attachment, and a person who is free of hatred towards anybody, he is only the person fit to see me, and the person who is able to see me, visualize me, he can only come to me. That is exactly the message. The real devotee does not work for his sake, but works for the Lord only. Because for him everything is Bhagavan. Like that, worldly people strives for enjoyment, prospects and power, but the devotee strives to attain the Lord Supreme. And that is the goal. Of course, though it is depicted in a sort of grass form, now as he was telling, Bhagavan himself appears as 3 forms. Actually, he is also a Virat form. There is a grass form, Hiranyagarbhan, that is the Brahmaji, and again Ishvara, that is a castle form. See, these 3 forms are there for Bhagavan, and all these 3 forms actually you can't see. Even this Virat form itself, it is not possible to see with this eye, but there are also other forms which you can realize within yourself only. That is the message that is being conveyed here. Hari Om.
So very beautifully, he summarized how Bhagavan concludes this chapter saying, it is possible to know me, to even see me this way, and unite and merge into me. How? There is only one qualification which he mentioned, Bhaktya tu ananyaya shakyate. Through ananya bhakti. Through ananya bhakti, through single-pointed devotion alone. Not through Vedas, not through study, not through any number of discourses, not through dana, tapa, anything, but through single-pointed devotion, it's possible to know, to see, to feel, to experience, and to unite with the Lord. For that, we should all follow all the steps he had said, the karma yoga, everything, mat karma krit, mat paramobha, mat bhaktaha, Bhagavan says. Become free of all hatreds and devote yourself to your actions as you perform as an offering to me. So, thanking once again Vedyas Bhagavan, Krishna Paramatma and Guru Parampara for this wonderful opportunity for all of us to listen reflect and revel in the glorious divine cosmic form of the Lord, we conclude. Om Tat Sat Iti Srimad Bhagavad Geeta Su Upanishadsu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre Shri Krishna Arjuna Samvade Vishwarupa Darshana Yogo Nama Ekadashodhyayah. Om Tat Sat. Hari Om.
Thank you all for the wonderful presentation. It goes without saying that the correspondents have given us an opportunity to visualize in our mind's eye the cosmic vision of Bhagwan by explaining this chapter in a crystal clear manner. Therefore, this program, Guru Vandanam, right from day one, provides us in the capsule form this great scripture to be taken, chewed, and digested to experience metamorphosis in our lives. I invite the Swaranjali team of Chinmaya Vidyalaya Annanagar to render the bhajans, followed by Shanti Path.
गजाननं भूतगणादिसेवितं कपित्थजम्बूफलसारभक्षितम् उमासुतं शोकविनाशकारणं नमामि विघ्नेश्वरपादपङ्कजम् वेदविनायक शरणं शरणं वेदविनायक शरणं शरणं विघ्नविनायक शरणं शरणं विघ्नविनायक शरणं शरणं नादविनायक शरणं शरणं नादविनायक शरणं शरणं नागविनायक शरणं शरणं नागविनायक शरणं शरणं राजविनायक शरणं शरणं राजविनायक शरणं शरणं विजयविनायक शरणं शरणं विजयविनायक शरणं शरणं सिद्धिविनायक शरणं शरणं सिद्धिविनायक शरणं शरणं बुद्धिप्रदायक शरणं शरणं बुद्धिप्रदायक शरणं शरणं बुद्धिप्रदायक शरणं शरणं बुद्धिप्रदायक शरणं शरणं वेदविनायक शरणं शरणं विनायक शरणं शरणं विघ्नविनायक शरणं शरणं विघ्नविनायक शरणं शरणं नादविनायक शरणं शरणं नादविनायक शरणं शरणं नागविनायक शरणं शरणं नागविनायक शरणं शरणं राजविनायक शरणं शरणं राजविनायक शरणं शरणं विजयविनायक शरणं शरणं विजयविनायक शरणं शरणं सिद्धिविनायक शरणं शरणं सिद्धिविनायक शरणं शरणं बुद्धिप्रदायक शरणं शरणं बुद्धिप्रदायक शरणं शरणं बुद्धिप्रदायक शरणं शरणं बुद्धिप्रदायक शरणं शरणं वेदविनायक शरणं शरणं विघ्न विनायक शरणं शरणं विघ्न विनायक शरणं शरणं विघ्न विनायक मूर्ति की जय। वनमाली वासुदेवा वनमोहन राधा रमणा 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 शशिवदना सरसि जनयना जगन्मोहन 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 राधा रमणा पार्कडलिल पल्ली कोंड परनाम राधा रमणा पल्ली कोंड परनाम राधा रमणा भक्तர்களின் குறை தீர்க்கும் ஸ்ரீரங்க ராதா ரமணா பக்தர்களின் குறை தீர்க்கும் ஸ்ரீரங்க ராதா ரமணா பக்தர்களின் குறை தீர்க்கும் ஸ்ரீரங்க ராதா ரமணா பக்தர்களின் குறை தீர்க்கும் ஸ்ரீரங்க ராதா ரமணா வெண்ணையுண்டமாயவனே கண்ணாணி ராதா ரமணா வெண்ணையுண்டமாயவனே கண்ணாணி ராதா ரமணா வேண்டுவரம் தந்திடுவார் ஸ்ரீரங்க 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 ராதா ரமணா वनमाली वासुदेवा वनमोहन राधा रमणा वनमाली वासुदेवा वनमोहन राधा रमणा शशिवदना सरसि जनयना जगन्मोहन राधा रमणा शशिवदना सरसि जनयना जगन्मोहन राधा रमणा पार्कडलिल पल्ली कोंड परधाम राधा रमणा पार्कडलिल पल्ली कोंड परधाम राधा रमणा भक्तர்களின் குறை தீர்க்கும் ஸ்ரீரங்க ராதா ரமணா பக்தர்களின் குறை தீர்க்கும் ஸ்ரீரங்க ராதா ரமணா வெண்ணையுண்டமாயவனே கண்ணாணி ராதா ரமணா வெண்ணையுண்டமாயவனே கண்ணாணி ராதா ரமணா வேண்டுவரம் தந்திடுவார் ஸ்ரீரங்க ராதா ரமணா வேண்டுவரம் தந்திடுவார் ஸ்ரீரங்க ராதா ரமணா 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 கோபிகா ஜீவன ஸ்மரணம் கோவிந்தா கோவிந்தா குரு வேண்டும் 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 காரணமற்ற குருவருள் வேண்டவே வேண்டும் காரணமற்ற குருவருள் வேண்டவே வேண்டும் குரு 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 வேண்டும் காரணமற்ற குருவருள் வேண்டவே வேண்டும் காரணமற்ற குருவருள் வேண்டவே வேண்டும் விஷயம் என்ற விஷமுறிய குரு வேண்டும் குரு வேண்டும் விஷயம் என்ற விஷமுறிய குரு வேண்டும் குரு வேண்டும் பக்தியினாலும் புரிந்து பக்தி செய்திட வேண்டவே வேண்டும் பக்தியினாலும் புரிந்து பக்தி செய்திட வேண்டவே வேண்டும் குரு 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 வேண்டும் காரணமற்ற குருவருள் வேண்டவே வேண்டும் காரணமற்ற குருவருள் வேண்டவே வேண்டும், வேண்டவே வேண்டும், வேண்டவே வேண்டும். सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की जय. राम 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 जय राम 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 जय राम 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 जय राम 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 जय राम 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 राम. दशरथ नंदन राम राम राम, दशरथ नंदन राम राम राम, दशरथ नंदन राम राम राम, दशमुख मर्दन राम राम राम, पशुपति रंजन राम राम राम, पाप विमोचन राम राम राम, पशुपति रंजन राम राम राम, पाप विमोचन राम राम राम. राम 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 जय राम 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 जय राम 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 राम. अनाथ रक्षक राम राम राम, आवत बांधव राम राम राम, अनाथ रक्षक राम राम राम, आवत बांधव राम राम राम. मैथिली वंदित राम राम राम, मारुति वंदित राम राम राम, मैथिली नंदन राम राम राम, मारुति वंदित राम राम राम. राम 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 जय राम 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 राम, राम 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 जय राम 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 राम. दशरथ नंदन राम राम राम, दशमुख मर्दन राम राम राम, दशरथ नंदन राम राम राम, दशमुख मर्दन राम राम राम, पशुपति रंजन राम राम राम, पाप विमोचन राम राम राम, पशुपति रंजन राम राम राम, पाप विमोचन राम राम राम. राम 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 जय राम 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 राम, राम 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 जय राम 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 राम. अनाथ रक्षक राम राम राम, आवत बांधव राम राम राम, अनाथ रक्षक राम राम राम, आवत बांधव राम राम राम. मैथिली नंदन राम राम राम, मारुति वंदित राम राम राम, मैथिली नंदन राम राम राम, मारुति वंदित राम राम राम. राम 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 जय राम 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 राम, राम 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 जय राम 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 राम, जय राम 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 राम, जय राम 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 राम. जानकी कांत स्मरणं जय जय राम राम. हर हरो हरा स्वामी हर हरो हरा, हर हरो हरा स्वामी हर हरो हरा, हर हरो हरा स्वामी हर हरो हरा, हर हरो हरा स्वामी हर हरो हरा. आरुमुख वेलनक हर हरो हरा, आरुमुख वेलनक हर हरो हरा, आरुमुख वेलनक हर हरो हरा, आरुमुख वेलनक हर हरो हरा. चंपणी बालनक हर हरो हरा, चंपणी बालनक हर हरो हरा, चंपणी बालनक हर हरो हरा, चंपणी बालनक हर हरो हरा. तनिग मले नादनक हर हरो हरा, तनिग मले नादनक हर हरो हरा, तनिग मले नादनक हर हरो हरा, तनिग मले नादनक हर हरो हरा. वल्ली मन बालनक हर हरो हरा, वल्ली मन बालनक हर हरो हरा, वल्ली मन बालनक हर हरो हरा, वल्ली मन बालनक हर हरो हरा. पुल्ली मயில் வேலனுக்கு हर हरो हरा, पुल्ली मயில் வேலனுக்கு हर हरो हरा, पुल्ली मயில் வேலனுக்கு हर हरो हरा, पुल्ली मயில் வேலனுக்கு हर हरो हरा. हर हरो हरा स्वामी हर हरो हरा, हर हरो ஹரோஹரா சுவாமி ஹர ஹரோஹரா ஆறுமுக வேலனுக்கு ஹர ஹரோஹரா ஆறுமுக வேலனுக்கு ஹர ஹரோஹரா பழனி பாலனுக்கு ஹர ஹரோஹரா பழனி பாலனுக்கு ஹர ஹரோஹரா தனிகமலை நாதனுக்கு ஹர ஹரோஹரா தனிகமலை நாதனுக்கு ஹர ஹரோஹரா வள்ளி மன பாலனுக்கு ஹர ஹரோஹரா வள்ளி மன பாலனுக்கு ஹர ஹரோஹரா புள்ளிமயில் வேலனுக்கு ஹர ஹரோஹரா புள்ளிமயில் வேலனுக்கு ஹர ஹரோஹரா புள்ளிமயில் வேலனுக்கு ஹர ஹரோஹரா புள்ளிமயில் வேலனுக்கு ஹர ஹரோஹரா ஹர ஹரோஹரா சுவாமி ஹர ஹரோஹரா ஹர ஹரோஹரா சுவாமி ஹர ஹரோஹரா ஆறுமுக வேலனுக்கு ஹர ஹரோஹரா ஆறுமுக வேலனுக்கு ஹர ஹரோஹரா வெற்றிவேல் முருகனுக்கு ஹர ஹரோஹரா रामचंद्र के दूता हनुमंता आंजनेय प्रभु रामचंद्र के दूता हनुमंता आंजनेय प्रभु रामचंद्र के दूता हनुमंता आंजनेय प्रभु रामचंद्र के दूता हनुमंता आंजनेय हे पवन पुत्र हनुमंता बल भीमा आंजनेय हे पवन पुत्र हनुमंता बल भीमा आंजनेय 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 बल भीमा बल भीमा बल भीमा आंजनेय बल भीमा बल भीमा बल भीमा आंजनेय 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 जय हो जय हो जय हो आंजनेय जय हो जय हो जय हो आंजनेय 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 आंजनेय स्वामी की जय पवमान सुदुडु पट्टु द्वारार विंदमुलकु नी नाम रूपमुलकु नित्य जय मंगलम राजीव नयन त्याग राजानी विनुतमैन नी नाम रूपमुलकु नित्य जय मंगलम नित्य जय मंगलम नित्य जय मंगलम पूर्णमद पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरि ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः हरि ओम।